This is a case where what we have done a few times already. Very recently one also. So what you need to do is to really analyze Vietnamese manufacturing industry, where it's positioned, where it's situated, how it works, what kind of cost levels you have. So we have here three main industrial clusters in the north, middle, and south. So the selection is already between those. You need to understand what kind of industrial parks here are, because that's where the government is pushing you to go. What kind of electricity costs, water costs, wastewater costs, other costs you might have, what are the typical rental costs, and so on. Then, of course, the licensing of your factory and all these kind of details. And to understand all this, you need to really do the study on the ground. You cannot do this efficiently through the internet or anything like that, because the information simply is not available online. You can find some information, but it's not necessarily the full information and not necessarily the best information either. We have teams who are going to visit these IZs. We take pictures, we take videos, we discuss with them about what kind of industries they are interested to have in their industrial zone. Believe me or not, they not always want your industry, for example, for their industrial park, because they concentrate on something else. Of course, speaking with the local authorities, people's committees is very important, because they always support you and your project. So it's good to have the network there. Then you need also to take care of setting up your company, accounting, administration, and many different tasks. Then you have to remember also that very important studies are, for example, labor availability. If you have labor which is specific your industry, raw materials in general, where are the raw material suppliers, how far they are they domestic or imported ones. Then, of course, you need to think about if you need subcontractors, where are they positioned, the logistics to the nearest port if you are using sea shipments. So there are several factors like this which are very operational factors in the matter of fact, and you need to understand how they are situated in different parts of the country. Salary levels is of course very important. If you have such a production which can be not in the middle of cities and a little bit further away, there are in Vietnam incentives available for remote areas production. But that's not the case with every industry. Many times you have to be near the port also. Also, the distance from the main cities is affecting the salary levels. There is 4 different minimum wage levels in Vietnam, which are reflecting then to the overall salary levels in the regions. Before making any investment decision, you should know all this. You should have a clear picture, clear numbers, so you can evaluate the cost of such operation and move ahead with solid facts, not just estimations. So I think that the saying that well prepared is half done is true. So you need to do a very good study this way and on the ground. You cannot do it from distance. Otherwise, you make decisions which are not based on full facts.